You are now listening to The Funniest Show with your host Donovan Strong-O'Donnell. On the episode today we have special guest Max Fitzatrick.
Once I
get to 9.
Once you grip the mic, you feel like you're gonna start just like spitting.
Do you want it?
No. That'll be for
That'll be a later tradition.
that'll be for a different guest. I won't say his name because I don't want to jinx it.
I'm hoping
But hopefully he'll be able to freestyle for 20 minutes.
Harry Mack. Oh, dream guest,
There goes
Harry
the
Mack.
sign.
So,
There goes the show.
dude, I was so proud of my studio, and it's immediately proven
It's
to
falling
be.
apart.
You don't know. I was like, oh, dude, this shit's serious. I have texts going on about how serious this is. And I got all that mess on my bed.
Is this one for episode 1
This is episode 1 of the reboot of The Funniest Show.
of the reboot of The Funniest Show? Wow, dude, I'm honored.
Right off the bat, yeah, I wanted to.
That's cool.
I wanted to get my podcast game, get my social media game up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is some good lemonade.
Donovan made me lemonade. I just want to say, I thought my friend was drugging me. He's already put me in his studio. I won't say where it is.
The corner of my bedroom.
He said
I'm never
it.
gonna show it, but it is a small bag.
Yeah, it's amazing what camera work can do. But then he starts pouring the lemonade, and I was like, "Yeah, this is normal." But then he goes, "Ooh," and then he starts looking at my drink, and he goes, "The ice is good. Okay, gotcha." I was like, "What was he looking at?" So yeah, and I started drinking the lemonade. I was like, "You feeling anything?"
You gotta boil the sugar, and that's what I was worried about.
Okay.
There we go.
No, I feel fine. It's okay. It's really good lemonade. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Sox cups.
Yeah, the one downside of giving us both the same cup is that when I went in to refill our water cups, I immediately forgot whose cup is who. Thought it'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
Well, I'm feeling okay.
Yeah, but I wanted to reboot my podcast. I was immediately like, oh, man, I'm going to have the hottest topics to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have the best thing. And you know, these guys on YouTube, they like make compilations of other people's podcasts. Like their podcast is just.
Yeah, that's so sad. Oh my God. There is like a YouTube base of people who make these videos, and they're like, yeah, if you see he said this on a podcast, and I don't really know, folks. He seems like he's like really fallen off lately, and he hasn't done a podcast since March. And
I know exactly who that guy is.
You know what I'm talking
that's
about,
too
right?
lazy to try.
Right.
He does the George Costanza pictures.
Yes,
in between.
yes.
I would love for him to make a YouTube video about how dope my podcast is.
Yeah.
But he only says negative shit. Him specific, like I've gotten deep because I was like, this was like my whole game plan is to like when too lazy to try is nothing but negativity. He's just like, bro, you did your impression was dead on.
I mean,
obviously
he's really funny. Like
he was one of 3 people I met.
Yeah.
There's him. And everything he says is negative. And it is all just like, you just did like a perfect, he's like, guys, I don't know. He's like, I'm not even trying to say I'm not a fan, but he sucks. And everything is like, this is like.
Who do you like? So we can make fun of you.
Oh
That's what I'm asking.
No, 100%. But yeah, he just shits on people. But there's a couple people who like are like, there's this one Joke World where he's like an Eastern European kid who's just like,
I just saw that guy today.
He's like, bro, these are the podcasts and they're very good.
Yeah, I got sucked up in all these videos, and now they're in your algorithm.
Yeah, he has like a whole sports, and he has like a green screen. He's probably has a bedroom in his corner.
Yeah.
Doing a whole green screen thing where he's
we know
like
you're in your
sports,
bed, bro.
He has like the Sports Center graphics rundown where he's like, and next we're talking about Shane Gillis's pod.
Yeah,
then Louis
exactly.
C.K. was.
Yeah,
here's the pods Louis C.K. was on this week.
He's like making a Sports Center of comedy podcasts, and that's so lame to me. And then of course
it's lame, but also please put me on Joke World. I will give you money.
I will
pay you money
Right.
Hush.
I'll go on. Yeah,
$85.
Too lazy to
That's
try.
my
Why don't
max.
you put
Make
this,
a doc about me? Yeah.
put this impersonation of me of you on your pod? Okay,
Well,
if you're really not a hater.
Well, the thing is, like, even like the big podcasts, it's just dudes in their apartments. So it's like, why can't this just be smash cut in between, like, you know, Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan and the Mark Norman fucking clip? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
And then there's Donovan chilling in his black fucking his black fucking screen.
Yeah.
I was gonna steam this bad boy. I forgot to steam it. That was gonna be one of my goals.
Do you have a steamer?
Yeah, and that's what you got to do with these sheets. And also, I was gonna rearrange the lights so like this little gap right here, I was gonna hide it with by putting other lights on it. Also, yeah, I'm gonna one up the studio every fucking episode. You guys are gonna see.
Yeah.
You're gonna that one becomes a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You ever get athlete's foot?
Yeah, dude, it's the worst. I have the worst. I don't want to totally get into too many details, but
This is what I wanted the podcast to be about.
yeah,
actually.
my I have a toenail that's quite unflattering. I'm trying to figure out the situation. I've been coming up with some solutions though.
Do you wonder what the cause is? Do you know what the cause is? Can I get more of that
I
lemonade?
imagine just
Thank you.
you know, my sock
Ooh.
and
Whoa! I should have brought paper towels.
Yeah, my sock and shoes situation of some sort. I'd imagine. I don't know though. That was live.
That's the comedy.
Yeah.
That's how you get funniest show title.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Sports, things like that. Stubbing my toe, wearing shoes that weren't my size, a little too tight sometimes. I don't know. A bunch of various things.
Sweating in tight socks. So I got it. I have my first, like, you know, I think I'm dealing with my first off. This is what I wanted it to be about. I tell people my medical issues.
Oh, God.
I got athlete's foot right now. Yeah. And when I went to Europe, I was walking everywhere. I was getting like 30,000 steps in a day. This is ridiculous. And 30,000 steps in a day.
This is live.
And my feet were getting all fucked up. And I was like using the hostels with barefoot, hostel showers barefoot. And then I came home with athlete's foot. Now, 3 months later, I'm like, all right, let me deal with this.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe this isn't just dry skin.
Do you have like the Lotrimin on deck?
Yeah. And then I get the Lotrimin, and it just says this is for ringworms. And then I find out athlete's foot is ringworms, right? So you have little ringworms hanging in my feet.
Yep, that's what it is. I had a.
And that's all I have to say on that matter.
No, I'm stumped. I wish I had
more. I wish I had more of a take on athlete's foot.
My dad's friend got me Lotrimin because he'd heard about my feet so he lived by this stuff. Whatever that gray bottle that you spray on your feet. I still have some, and he goes, yeah. It never goes away, really, but it really works. He goes, it really works. This stuff
never
really
goes
works.
away.
Apparently, because it's like, it's still always down there.
It's like herpes.
It could,
It's like foot herpes.
Yeah, or like a wart in a sense.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get properly taken care of. It's sad.
That's a fucking huge bummer.
Yeah.
And I've been like telling everyone. And it's gonna always.
If you manage it, you'll be okay. I believe.
You know, sometimes there is that person who does come down like, I just got herpes this weekend. And you're like, whoa, chill out, bro.
Yeah, I'm not that.
It's like now I know. I'm never gonna forget this. So if 6 months from now you start hooking up with it.
Yeah, I do think so. I definitely know some people like that, and I do every now and then, like just out of the blue, think like. They have herpes.
Yeah, right. Like if they didn't admit it, no stigma, but also no. I am like, don't share a drink with that person.
Okay, I hate to, I don't
don't
know
share
if this,
a blunt.
I don't know
with
if this
person.
would get me in trouble or not. But when did this bullshit happen, dude?
Can't
this
be
like
you can't be grossed out. Can't be grossed out.
What are you talking about, dude?
I know, right?
Did
you
you
better
not
share
go to
that
sex
cup.
ed? Were you the kid who got pulled out? Like, did you not see the pics? Sorry, dude. Like that stuff's real. No. I mean, I get it. At the same, like they should be able to.
No, but it's also like, yeah, but it's like, oh, you should share. You could share. You could have sex with a guy with herpes and not get it. It's like, yeah, but don't roll the dice.
No,
Yeah. It's like if you're not sleeping with people with a herpes,
don't have to do
you're
it.
A creep. It's like, no, yeah, I know. Oh man.
No, that one bugged me. I was like, oh, they got us.
Yeah,
they really got us.
And there's a couple.
How are they gonna get us?
Yeah. I'm lucky. I've never had a serious cold sore. But no judgment.
No, yeah,
But also,
yeah.
I hate when people do. I'm like, I don't want to fucking share the fucking joints stuff with you. I don't want to share things.
Right.
And every so often, like a really well-to-do person will just have the most blown-up face.
Yeah.
Like their whole mouth will have exploded.
Oh,
and I'm just like, ah. And one guy at work, a coworker of mine, this was years ago. I would not be risky like this anymore. But I was like, hey, cold sore. In front of a bunch of people. And he was like, why'd you say that? He got mad at me, confronted me afterwards. I know what I was right. He's
my God.
Why would you say that with higher ups?
Higher ups. The higher ups are going to know that.
And I mean, it's like, bro, we all know that's a cold sore.
I'm getting hookers. No, yeah. I don't know. But
there's opinions that are going to, the weirdest opinions are going to cancel us.
I almost went like, shout out to all the people with this. Like, that's like what I feel like when people get in hot water on like these kinds of shows. Like, hey, but shout out to all I get, it sucks, dude.
There's a handsome comic who I know who has a good kid joke about being herpes positive, and every time he tells it, I'm like, yeah, stay out of my dating pool. Stay in your herpes dating pool.
Stay on H-date, creep.
But now there's so many people with herpes, if you get it, you could just go date all the hot herpes girls.
Yeah, that's true. And that's all I'm going to keep it.
Dating pool. It's also crazy, like when husbands and wives, and then like 20 years in, you hear they're like they keep it together. It's like now he is. Now he got herpes with the maid, and now he's coming back.
Yeah. No, yeah,
no flare up. Sorry, babe. I got the flare up. You remember why when we got the hot female maid for our kids?
Yeah. Shout out to all the people with STDs.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Do you ever like I don't know, maybe not to blow up your spot, but I it's like I maybe drink too much Mountain Dew as a kid because it's like I still have no kids.
You're like kind of bummed you never got a girl pregnant.
No, but what if I'd be bummed if later in life I could.
Oh, you couldn't.
I would love to have a kid at like 50, 45, 47.
Yeah, yeah, 47. I don't know if you want to have a kid that old, man, and I won't. I don't know
right?
I don't know the total science behind it, but I'm told it's not amazing.
Yeah, it can't be that healthy.
Right.
I like the idea of just being so old you can't raise them.
Just like, then again,
what do you expect? I'm 70.
There is that, yeah.
Just like, and there's people who do that all the time. Where it's
for sure. I don't. What the fuck is Nick Cannon's problem? I'm sure there's enough podcasts going off about this, but dude, what a selfish motherfucker. I really get mad at this stuff. Like, we're all going to be working for Cannons.
Yeah, no, I mean, but also...
Cannon. We're going to say it, tell it to my motherfucking Cannon, my boss, Cannon. Sorry.
No, but 100%. I mean, like, what is he doing? Like, when you hear about him, how is his sperm always hidden?
Yeah,
Is it
dude,
that time of...
Are
you tracking your cycle?
Stuff. I think he's... I feel like at this point it's purposeful because... Dude, yeah, one, he's a celebrity, and most celebrities don't want that, right? Or, I mean, I would think most don't. And he seems to be pretty successful at, I got this girl pregnant.
Not to bring it back 6 months, but I didn't have a podcast 6 months ago, but
yeah.
I thought pretty fucking cool if Drake really did put hot sauce in his condoms, because it is like...
Right.
For that to pay off, for that one time when he hears that scream, he's like, I knew I should. I've been doing that for 7 years, and now I have all this hot sauce in my bag, like Hillary Clinton.
That's so
and now he's right.
Yeah, that's so gross, but at the same time, like, yeah, I get it. Can you imagine being a sperm and you're floating in the bag? And you're like, what's that?
You already.
It's like the shit that Doom puts the tunes in the dip. It's basically dip for your semen. Okay, I'm gonna stop beating this, but
yeah, I like that you're already dying as a sperm because you ended up in a condom.
Yeah, you're already dying, but then this is like the final blow.
Burn. You get burned right at the end.
Going to hell
as you're like drying out,
and you see Drake's face, like his puckered lips, like ooh. Ooh, see ya. See you later.
And then with your last breaths, you get pulled out.
Yeah.
Stuck in some girl's vagina.
Yeah. All that work just to not get a vasectomy.
Oh, I know. And he got a kid.
Damn it, my tour manager forgot my hot sauce.
That's how it happened.
What else can I use?
One slip up.
He's looking around the bathroom. God damn it.
Oh, man. I watched, I started, because, man, movies from the 80s pace differently. But Thief, and I think I heard you talk about
Well,
it.
Michael Mann movies pace differently in general. They're
And that's
very
an early
slow.
one. That's an early one.
And that... I say that with respect. I like Kubrick movies are slow too, or whatever.
No, absolutely.
But
like you'll watch a guy walk from a building, like a car to a building, for 45 seconds,
and you'll love
the
it.
Whole, they're all cool shots because every shot's like an artsy college kid shot, and it's a very gritty 80s Chicago movie.
Yeah.
But Willie Nelson's character.
He's really good.
He doesn't make it. Spoiler.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we might be getting towards the end. And I was like, oh, we're like halfway through. I'm gonna take a nap.
Right. Yeah. I am known to nap during some Michael Mann movies for sure, and it's nothing personal. I will wake up and rewatch what I didn't see. But
it was super badass. It clearly influenced Dark Knight a bunch. Clearly had a lot of just had a good Chicago movie.
I think it's.
Time
I think
Lager,
Michael
bro.
Mann has influenced a lot of like the Safdie brothers, the Uncut Gems, and stuff like that.
There's definitely a lot of like emotional.
There's
like,
that.
trying to hide, like play with that, and the guy's just such a scumbag. I like seeing James Caan in that movie because he is just such like a piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
scumbag, bad. He's
and
dumb.
you find
He
yourself
can't spell
rooting
male.
for him. Yeah,
no, he's the hero for sure. But yeah, he's like smacking girls and stuff. Like.
Yeah, and he's our hero, folks. Yeah.
He's like, you won't let me fucking adopt a kid because I went to jail for 16 years, you dumb bitch. Like, chill out.
I like how we've had this conversation and no one has mentioned, you just can't make that movie. You know what I hate about having conversations about these movies now? It's like when people say, you just can't make that anymore. It's like, dude, that's just not true.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's not true.
And the thing is, they won't make a movie with that long of artistic shots.
Right,
That's more
right.
the thing you can't make than all the fucking crazy. Yeah.
They won't.
No, they'll make a high speed. They would soften. Yeah, hell yeah. No, you're right. I mean, the Safdie brothers, but you're right about the Safdie brothers are holding it strong for.
Yeah.
Like like just scumbag guy. Like if they made that movie now, it'd be like Chris Evans, Tom Cruise. They'd be likable. They'd be nothing. They'd just be a good.
Yeah. And there would have to be some moral compass involved, it feels like. And I don't mean to get all down this road, but it would probably feel political of some sorts. And it's just, I mean, we've been beat over the head so many times with this stuff. You're just kind of like, why don't we I already feel it sort of busting out of the seams. Like, we want movies like Wedding Crashers or something to come back.
I think there's.
I don't know.
I would love, like silly comedies, and that's all. The only thing I watch 90% of the time, and they don't make them a movie where it's like, okay, there's gonna be,
yeah. I mean, look, it's like the time, I guess, and that's cool.
That wasn't that great of a movie, but even like that doesn't get made anymore. You know what I mean?
The Chris Rock, Bernie Mac movie?
No, the Will Ferrell.
Oh, that was Head of State.
Yeah, Head of State would actually the Head of State's a better way better movie.
It's right,
yeah.
But yeah, like they
Life.
don't take their
Life
chances on those,
and they won't make Life. Yeah, they won't make Life again. They'll make like a way woker version of Life, and Life is actually really well made and funny.
And if like there's something that's good, and like it can be this cool little hour and a half thing.
Yeah,
they're like, well, how can we stretch this out into a 6-hour miniseries? And you're like, dude, not everything has to be expanded upon, and what have you. I saw the menu.
Yeah,
and I have a buddy who's in that named John Cola, and he said something like, oh yeah, like maybe there could have been a little more backstory. I was like, no, dude, I think the lack of backstory is actually what makes this movie great. Did you see the menu?
Yeah, he's in. This guy's in it.
Yeah, he's one of the chefs.
That's fucking cool.
He's got some great shots.
It sticks out. So it's like, bro, enjoy your moment. Enjoy being in a feature film that's like, well, and I like them. I like the menu because it was like, that's a great example of, a movie that's like, it's just a movie. It's a simple story. It's not.
No, and he didn't necessarily disagree at all, but I just like, that's what I loved about the movie. I just loved how simple it was. And how we can grasp these concepts that this chef feels screwed over and he's had it with the world and he's developed this horribly evil, but really funny plan to kill all these people that he hates. Whatever. Sorry to spoil anything for people who haven't seen the thing.
That could also work as plays.
Yeah.
Where the movie is actually, it has to actually be entertaining and good.
Yeah.
But it's just the story. The story works. It's interesting enough characters.
I agree.
And then we're in and out.
I agree.
And then I could think about it a little and move on.
It seems like there's only a couple directors allowed to
make
do long dialogue scenes and then like a big action that pays off. And it used to happen all the time, and now we can't. For some reason,
that's the thing too. It's like I don't even I don't like super snobby, brilliant movies. I just don't like super. I don't love.
What would you consider a super snobby, brilliant movie?
Well, actually, I like those too. But I mean, I love those.
It's not your bag.
But well, first off, there's like a lot of prestige movies where they are just made to win Oscars, and the story is like
I hate
just
those.
hits you on your head with like.
I love some, obviously.
Yeah, some are great. Well, that's the thing. It's such a fine line between like those are the actually good movies, and then it's like some formulaic stuff. But but like I love shoot 'em up action movies, but I just like when they're not in tights. They're not superheroes. It's not.
Well, are those even shoot 'em ups? What are they shooting
they
at
don't
each
have
other?
Guns. But it's the same
blasts.
Thing. Yeah, they're just doing
lasers.
Yeah, it's just like it is. It's the same sequence, and it's and action movies where they constantly make dumb jokes.
They can't resist a serious moment. They
like
have
a rock action movie.
Some
what I'm talking about. That's not
some guy has to come out of the corner and be like, that was close, and you're like, foreign guy that we casted and you're trying to make a star of.
No, but exactly. No, that they can't. Everything is like half a second, and it's it has to It has to appeal to someone who doesn't speak a word of English.
Yeah, and
this movie has to work for someone who can't understand a single word that's big, and that's literally how they make stuff. They're they need to not be.
Dude, when I watch those movies, I want to play a video game. I don't want that stuff isn't
way
real
better to
to
play.
me.
Yes.
That's not reality to me. You know what's reality to me? Like I was just talking about crimes and misdemeanors. Like a guy who can't stand his wife anymore, so he hires someone who's loosely connected to the mob to get her killed. That's good movie. Bad movie. Oh my God! It's. I guess we're gonna. We're gonna have to do it. Whatever these these. I guess it's on us.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
And
superhero.
shit.
When we were kids, I always felt like superheroes had supervillains. And then, granted, they made the first 7 superhero films, so then they have to go to like the bench. But it's like, villains are fucking aliens from the future, like robot aliens from the future. It's like, how am I supposed to like? I need some Earth. When it's like these fucking weird like objects that you can't even recognize as human fighting. It's like these don't even look like action figures.
Right.
Where are the classic villains?
No, or even just like we were talking about like little cutesy like rom-com movie, or like you said something, sorry, but like Mean Girls comes to mind, and like Regina George, like kind of a Hollywood villain, right? But like fun, like kind of real, like kind of something you could cling to in your reality. I'm sorry, I don't look at the Joker and go, that's my bully. That's the kid who's getting bullied, whatever, I'm sure is what society and the movie's trying to say or whatever, but what...
But there's a reason everyone loves Mean Girls.
Like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Or the principal in Breakfast Club, who actually... what the beauty of him is, you see him talking to like... The janitor in the movie, and you're like, oh, dude, this guy is just like, he fell behind in the mix. He's so salty that he can't relate to like younger generations anymore, and you're like, oh shit. So like when villains were more gray, I guess, and not this like good guy, bad guy. I mean, I'm sure that this subject's been beat to death within itself, but
this is every guy having a podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, yeah. Exactly.
And I wanted to talk about ringworm and.
Yeah. We just wanted to talk about our toes.
Yeah.
No, I like stuff where it's gray. It's more, and movies within the 70s. Of course, there are some movies in the 80s there too, but for the most part, that kind of took a break, most people say. And then the 90s comes back. The early 2000s, I've been watching so many movies from the early 2000s lately that have like this creative freedom to it, I feel like. Have you seen Spun?
No.
Check it out. It's with Brittany Murphy, Mickey Rourke. Who's the guy who played in Rushmore?
Jason Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartzman, and he was in. Why am I blanking on his name now? Oh, John Leguizamo.
I was supposed to pull it up. I was supposed to have the laptop ready for all
no
this.
Worries, no
Things
worries.
We could pull it up.
We'll be pulling stuff up, folks. Is that his name? John Leguizamo? Okay.
John Leguizamo.
Menu too.
Yeah.
Great movie. I highly recommend. But I'm watching this. I'm like, how does this movie not talked about? How did this not go through? Like,
it is interesting. Like what doesn't go through, and then you do come back to, and then it's like, or what was big and good.
Yeah.
That never because I went back and I started watching like some of the Ebert and Roper top 10 or Siskel and Ebert.
Oh, I got stuck in that hole too.
And like what ones I hadn't seen. Like so, it's like
you wanted to know, right? What their review was.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Every time I see an old movie, I'll go and I'll check what they said.
Yeah.
But then separately, I'd watch like the top 10 from like a random year, and then if I hadn't seen like, but no, every time I look, I see a movie. Like a lot of movies now, I'll see Ebert. I mean, if that movie came out between 1970 and 2010, Roger Ebert has a review on it. So it's like
most likely yes.
And a lot of times you're like, wow, this is dead on.
Yeah.
But like some of the top 10, some of his top 10s from like 1990 that like I never saw or even heard. Like one was and I didn't love this movie, but Mississippi Burning, which was pretty good, and it's like a Gene Hackman and Willem Dafoe civil rights. Yeah, and it's like
it does have a white savior angle from what I can remember. I haven't seen it in so long.
That's a thing of like it's very much. I saw Glory for the first time, and it's a similar thing. Where it's
never seen Glory, and I own it on VHS.
It's so fun. It's a good movie, but there is things where it's like, bro, it is like, come on, like this doesn't need to be about Matthew Broderick. He's kind of a wimp. That's the one kind of cool thing is that he is kind of like, I mean, he does man up at the end in some ways, but he's kind of like a wimp, and then he's just he's commanding all these like badass black dudes like Denzel and Morgan Freeman.
And then there was what was the king of those like savior movies that the movie that everyone hates? It was a Green Book.
Oh yeah, and that's reason,
I'm not gonna lie.
Is it enjoyable? I could see it. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't win Best Picture.
Sorry, I liked it.
A movie wins Best Picture is like 60-year-old guys who are liberal being like, "Hey, that's a good movie about race," you know?
Exactly.
That isn't racist.
We can get along. Like, I totally understood but. Sometimes like you watch things as somebody who wants to make movies or be in them or even be a part of them in any capacity. You're not thinking of just like the story or the consequences that like the narrative has sometimes. Like you're thinking of like, oh, this is great acting. Oh, this is a great shot. Oh, whoa, this sequence, this needle drop they just put in. So you're thinking about it from different angles, and I thought the Green Book actually had stuff. I'm not trying to defend it.
So did Green Book lose to Moonlight? And I think that was
that was La La Land.
La La Land.
Yeah, and Green Book won.
Oh,
yeah.
Green Book won.
Yeah. I don't know what years those were. Jamie, can we pull that up?
Yeah, I definitely need the laptop going because that's what I hate. Yeah. I hate podcasts where people say like, first off, facts that don't matter.
They're just
that is just totally
shit
false.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Hey, we're good for that. We're good for that.
I actually love La La Land. Speaking of, I
never saw
I
that.
fucking love that movie, bro. That
Yeah.
movie is
See,
beautiful. In
that's
every
the thing
way.
about these Oscar movies. And why everybody gets so heated about them.
Yeah.
Nobody watches all of them.
I know. You watch
they
like
only
2 or
watch
3,
half,
and, you
and
like
then
one
you
of them.
pick your favorite one and gun
Yeah,
for it the
yeah.
whole time. That's
it's like,
what
yeah,
happens.
No, 100%. And that's like I don't.
Yeah.
I hate talking about Oscar. Usually, Oscar season comes around because
Right.
there's people. It's like Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's like the best movie, and it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, that's like the first good movie someone saw, and so now they're just like, that should win every movie award, right?
I don't mean to. Yeah, I don't mean to sell them out. But when Reed saw La La Land, my friend, he was like, the beginning was the greatest 10 minutes of cinema I've ever seen. I was like, you're joking.
I love the opening. It's a
great
opening.
Great. But isn't it kind of?
It's
kind of Godard with the traffic and all that. Not that I know the Godard movie or whatever. I
that's the thing.
I've
I never
seen
see
it.
Yeah,
but,
no, yeah. I never pull out like.
And I'm not trying to flex the.
No, but I'm that way too.
Godard.
Like I like all the French New Wave stuff. It's like, yeah, I like it better when Scorsese steals it. It's way cool. It's way better.
I like
it's
it better when it's American.
When the words are in English.
No, yeah. I mean, why? Thank you for the French for doing that, but yes, we will be stealing that. It's quite beautiful to look at.
I like when the movies are about guns and not people just walking around the street.
I do love Breathless. And they have like one shot of a
joking.
gun, I think, or maybe like a couple, but it's amazing how much like it does revolve around a guy who's like fascinated by gangster movies, and there's no real like all the violence is tragic. It's like sad.
I mean, I'm a nerd. There's like 12 I like, but I haven't seen. There's like hundreds. You know, there's like
you've seen the 100 Blows, right?
400 Blows.
400 Blows.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen it, but I just don't know what the fucking title.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, that's where I'm always like.
Yeah, dude. I don't.
Podcast. Do I gotta?
This is another thing I hate, dude. Like, sorry we
misspeak
trip
in real
up
life,
over
yeah.
filmmakers from like the 50s and the 60s. They're great, but at the same time, man, we can't hold all that information. We got the new stuff.
Well, I lie about so much shit too. Like I say, I read a book, and it's like I audibled half of it. You know, so I don't fucking.
I just winged it.
Okay, it's about
reading
rivers.
a couple sentences.
I know that book's about rivers.
Yeah.
But one of the things I want to ask, and the main topic, things that closed, businesses, bars, and what are your favorite bars in Chicago? There's some bars that I think of, like I only went to through you and our friend circles. So there's those bars.
I mean, there was stuff like before the pandemic that closed too.
Top 3 favorite bars that have closed in your life. That are
so
closed.
it doesn't matter if the pandemic affected it or not. It just
closed at once.
They were my favorite bars, and they're no longer there. Rodin comes to mind. It wasn't. There was nothing.
Where was that at?
In there that was particularly special. It was just. It was by the Six Corners on Milwaukee in Wicker Park, and Nate Alvarado and Kun. Don't know his last name, but Nate and Kun of A Billion Young they would spin there, and it was just great nights. They'd spin there every Tuesday, I think, and the beer was like half off, and we'd get crazy drunk. And
damn, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it was a certain period of time. It was like 2013, so. There was something really fun about that time in our life where we were just young, and the world is still ahead of us. Don't get me wrong, there was something sort of loose about it. That
your early 20s, I wish I could, you don't when there isn't any stakes.
Yeah, so that would be 1. 2, Danny's.
Yeah,
Danny's was like that all-time bar. If anybody's from Chicago and born and raised, they most likely know about it and have been there. It's just cool. It had this great vibe. There was a lot of great dancing, actual dancing, people spinning from records. Yeah,
like bars that look like should be apartments.
And
that one was fully a bar that, like, you know.
Yeah, and it was just on. It was just on the ropes for so long and fought for such a long time, and it finally went down. So it's just, it sucks, but. It fought the good fight, and long live Danny's. I think 3 would be I hope it's not the Hideout soon. I'll say that. But
is that on the ropes?
I don't know.
I don't want to
get
could be
too
a shit
deep.
talk the Hideout podcast.
No. I
you just
love
have
I
inside
love the
information.
Hideout to death, and I just hope it doesn't. I don't know. They're on a 3-month break. That's all I know. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's always rough.
That's all I know. Well, there's also news out there about it and stuff, but I won't entertain that. But and you know what? And for the sake of being positive, we'll say that's still around. So I'm gonna go with 3 Aces. It was a joint on Taylor Street, and my dad's really good friend Anthony Patenzo ran it, and he was amazing at just running the show there. And it was, the description on the menu is if Keith Richards opened up an Italian restaurant in his basement or something along those lines. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And it was very much along those that theme, and every time you'd go in, you'd hear Johnny Thunders or these punk really cool songs, man, real fucking rock songs, not I don't know, that cheap 80s shit. I like the 80s stuff. It was this is really this is I drink Jack Daniels in the morning type music. No, I don't, is that, and it was my first job there, really. I was a bus
boy.
You
worked there?
Yeah, I was a bus boy.
When?
In the summer. I worked one summer there, and I was not a little bit into the fall, and then once the patio closed, I was told that maybe I can come back next summer. But for the sake of Anthony, I did not ask, because I was the worst busboy ever. Yeah, I still probably am. But it was nice.
My mom works at Rush. My grandma worked at Rush forever. So I've been to a bunch of the spots on Taylor Street. So I had went there. It was a cool place.
Yeah.
Danny's was cool.
You ever been to Mario's Italian Lemonade?
Oh, of course. It's the Chicago classic.
It is.
I've never taken someone from out of town there, but that is a Chicago classic spot.
Yeah.
Man. And I should show Taylor. I was hoping, ideally Taylor Street's open, and then that would be on my ideal Chicago tour. You gotta stop in for one at Taylor Street. So is the guy who did 3 Aces, is he's the guy behind Peanut Park?
No, actually that's a guy, his name is Dave. Oh god, I'm forgetting his last name, man. Hold on.
It's okay. I'm gonna make my peanut park joke.
Cool.
Which is,
they
don't serve any peanuts at Peanut Park.
They don't.
And it's what kind of restaurant has the balls to just name themselves after a food and then not serve any dish? And what I wanted that to be, what I want it to be, I know it's Little Italy, so I imagine and it says Italian on it, so it's Italian cuisine with peanut infusion.
Right.
And there's just no peanut. There's not one peanut-based thing on the menu.
No. It has something to do with the history of the neighborhood, and I'm blanking on the story.
I think one of the parks might have used to be called Peanut Park. Or is it Vito Park. Some Italian took it over.
Arrigo Park, because it's shaped like a bean.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Not.
And then, but it's you go to Cheesecake Factory. Hey, do you guys sell cheesecake? No, you fucking idiot. This is a factory. We don't fucking sell cheesecake, you moron. Why did you think we serve cheesecake? Yeah. No, they have cheesecake right on the first page. Maybe. Cheesecake Factory serves everything. That's the irony of that. Is that not only does
I've never been to Cheesecake Factory.
Me neither. It seems like the trashiest restaurant. It's like a restaurant I'll never go to.
I've never been there. You ever see those A&Ws and you're just
well, that's a little different.
No, I would go there. I would go there.
I've been to it because sometimes it's a combination KFC A&W. Oh. Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. It's Taco Bell,
KFC, A&W.
Sometimes they're A&Ws. It's literally those three. Yeah, they're Yum brands. Some Chinese company, I think, right?
So they're all in cahoots.
But you get root beer
killing us.
Exactly. It's just poison drive-through. Drive-through food is fucking bad, bro. Well, speaking of sidestep, so the CVS at Damon and Ashland is closing. The one in that old building. that like 2-story one right at or Division and Ashland.
Division and okay,
Division Ashland, Milwaukee. That's closing. The one on Walgreens at Damon, Milwaukee closed.
Yeah,
and then the Walgreens at Diversey and Clark, which was a big one right next to Landmark Century. That's just closed. So all these giant and it's weird that we have Walmarts or Walgreens and CVS's in like cool places.
Yeah,
like that they were occupying these cool businesses.
Right.
And it's like, oh, it's sad that they're closing, but it's like, no, they're not. Like those are the worst fucking. I've never been like the Walgreens and CVS are like the worst.
They're not like taking down the building. From what I'm reading, they're not. They have no plans to tear down the building or the history. So I could give a shit about.
In
Walgreens.
fact, almost something better will likely be there. Like those
I would
are like
hope
the worst.
I said something of like a nightclub or something. I mean, dude, that would be the best thing to happen. I mean,
especially though,
right on the Six Corners.
The Six Corner one.
I'm sure there would be a lot of like controversy and like like with every club, there's like fights outside.
But that
sometimes.
one could be huge. Yeah, you could have a huge fucking space right there. That would be cool as hell. And have that vault be something.
Yeah,
vault be the VIP room.
And then people get locked in it.
Yeah, man, I'd be into that.
Yeah, no, I think it should be a club.
Yeah,
I don't know what else it would be. I don't know what better thing it could be to honor the neighborhood.
You know what's crazy? In Amsterdam, eye drops are prescription. They don't sell over-the-counter eye drops. Yeah. And it's like you smoke weed there all day, and then you can't buy eye drops.
Odd. That's pretty odd. And also,
that's the only thing I ever buy at Walgreens or CVS these days is eye drops.
Okay.
Eye drops and contact. It's like eye stuff.
And the contacts here, though, sometimes are behind like the plastic.
Yeah, you gotta get a guy to key it open.
That's so sad.
And I buy Roto eye drops.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm high. Can you open the thing?
I know, right? That shit. Yeah,
and they know
right about that. I want the high strength.
You get the Rotos.
You gotta go Rotos.
Which ones?
The red.
Hold on, I wonder if I have mine.
I have like 7 hidden around. Those are the ones you need. It's exactly those, the red Rotos.
I have the red Rotos, yeah.
I got
them.
Jeez. So, I was going to ask you, what are your favorite 3 bars that have overall, and you could include the 3 that we've already mentioned that closed, overall all time, 3 favorite Chicago bars?
Man, dude, this is going to... I hate to say this, but... because it's so overblown now and people will probably roll their eyes, but Big Star is probably one of my favorite spots because I remember when it wasn't big and it was just starting up, and my dad did the Star for them. And
yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
nobody
you have
fucking knows about it.
That's a pretty cool. Yeah. That gives you a pass to be like, yeah, I fuck with Big Star.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well,
and
I remember when
how many friends you had worked there.
Yeah, I remember like the first month it was open and we went there.
What year did it open?
It was like 2008.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I just remember being like, this is pretty good. My dad was like, yeah, man, this could be something, huh? This would be something. I just remember that, and it sure fucking became something.
Yeah, it's crazy. Again,
now they're selling my dad's Star on T-shirts. Oh, did I say that? Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah, no, but it's very good for them. It is, and and hey, I said you're my favorite bar, so I get to say stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah. No, I mean,
Big Star for sure. No, I think.
Yeah, I like it. You go there, but it's a place I avoid. Yeah, I avoided it for so long because it was like, oh, half the staff went to my high school,
Yeah.
And even if like people like, even though I like a lot of them, I was, it's a similar thing. You don't want to like just be, you never wanted to be just eating, especially if. Right. You didn't want. I avoided places I knew people from my high school worked at. And I still do.
No,
but I don't know. I don't know places anymore. But
like not to fully segue off the bar thing, but it is really tough to bump into people in high school that you kind of know and barely knew, and it's weird for me.
Yeah, there's a couple.
It's weird for me before I start talking, and then when I start talking to them.
Well, there's some that are great.
I like
it. There's some that it's very cool. There's some I'm very excited about. But then, and it was happening a lot more. I kind of like that it happens less, so now I appreciate it more.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with it now. But, like, I think probably you went through the same thing. Like, early, mid-20s, it's like, this is happening. At times, I loved it, and that's why I moved back to Chicago, is I loved every time I go out in the city, I run into someone I know.
Yeah.
But then once I moved back, I was like, all right, every time I go out, that's too much.
It can be overwhelming.
And there was times like when I was working downtown for the first time. That's when it'd be people who are really random connections or people I really like didn't know.
That's odd you say that because I find the same thing. Like I would bump into the more downtown you would get, the more random person you'd bump into.
And sometimes it'd be like next to you at Pop. There was one time where there was this kid who was on my high school chess team, and he was like clearly he was wearing a suit. He was with 6 other people all in suits, and I was like slumming it. You know, it was like it didn't matter. So I had like a big hoodie on or something, and I was hungover. I was like it was like at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I was just like getting my pot belly, and he like looked super clean cut, and I was just like, I do not want to. Good for this guy, but I do not want to talk to this guy at all. And I'm just going to fully ignore it. Yeah.
The last bar, I'll just say Asterio so I could tell this story, but for a Chief Keef story. But Asterio is a really good bar. And they got great drinks. That's the thing. Yeah. I would recommend if you're like going to take a date there, go there. Yeah. So, that's my advice. But sorry, I thought when you pointed you wanted more lemonade. But I was at Asterio.
I did.
And and this was in 2017, and this girl was like, "Hey, we're at Asterio," and I kind of had a crush on her at the time, and I was like, "Okay, I'm going," and I went, and you know, like when like you could tell like you're kind of in a job interview stage of like whether the girl likes you or not. She doesn't know if you fully likes you, so she's got to like feel you out. I think I was failing at this tremendously because she called up 2 friends and they showed up right away, and then she left with those 2 friends.
Isn't that hurtful though? Those are things like that happen. You're like, this is just so hurtful.
It was so lonely.
Can we describe how hurtful this is?
I was left with like some coffee mixed drink that I didn't even want. I just was like, this sounds good, and I was probably my breath was reeking or something. But dude, one of the friends was like talking, and he was clearly one of these musical connoisseurs of some sort. And if you know me, I don't play instruments. I suck at instruments. I'm very jealous of musicians. That's okay. But regardless, I was like talking to this guy off the espresso. Yeah. This was like espresso martini before espresso martinis because it came in like this like tall thing, whatever. But I was like kind of jacked up talking to him about music, and he was talking about like, oh yeah, this trash now, and he said something about Chief Keef, and I was like, nah, honestly, I go. And I looked at him, and I was like kind of like this. Mark my words, Chief Keef's Finally Rich will be on the same shelf as Curtis Mayfield's Superfly. And boy, you would have thought I said, I want to light this place on fire. I still stand by that.
It's not like, I mean, in some ways, and in terms of like influence on the world,
on the city,
finally, and I think the world.
Story.
I would argue that on world influence, Chief Keef Finally Rich is weirdly enough one of the most influential albums of all time.
It's so good,
and that's partly and
the mixtapes he did before that were amazing. I mean, the videos too, like the D Gaines stuff, and then the Young Chop. And
what was the last mixtape and what was the first album? Because that was Finally Rich the last the mixtape.
I think his first mixtapes were like Bang and like Back from the Dead.
Back from the Dead is the one I'm thinking of, and then he went Finally Rich was the first album.
Yeah, and then he did Bang 2, and I've seen like people talk about this online and talk about like what his best mixtape was, and the Bang 2 people were like Bang 2 whatever, and I think it's a great mixtape,
and that's like they're super close to all those others.
But people are usually like that was his lean phase and he was probably taped up to the microphone because he couldn't stand up straight, whatever, you know, and you're just like geez. But I don't know, you know, I thought he had such a great reign in Chicago, and I thought what he brought,
I mean, drill is everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
It's the main hip hop in every other country.
And look at how like packaged it is now.
Yeah,
like it's
in
like
New
all
York.
you have to do is just find this like young up and kid with a unique sound and dye his hair. And I'm not like trying to be like, insensitive or like degrading about the genre, but it is played out and it is very much packaged and
yeah. Well, it's
totally
this very easy to make and reproduce beat style, and then it's just like pausing.
And every now and then there's a new guy who will like bring a new twist to it. I like Playboy Cardi. I fall.
Yeah.
For, like,
well, I love
I
love Pop Smoke, and
yeah.
but that's like fully an evolution of Chicago drill.
We were the wolf. He did, dude. He did so much, and he got so much blame for stuff. Like, dude, what drove me nuts about like the Chief Keef conversations back in those days is they were like, "Oh God, he makes such horrible music. He shouldn't be making music. He shouldn't be doing this." And it was like, then what should he be doing?
Yeah, and it's just,
and that's all I'll ask because there's no real. It's like if he can't use his creative outlet, then you want him to
go back to shooting.
Go to that or be some like work a 9 to 5 that he doesn't want to work, and it's like
and he
either way you want him to be in a place of like where
and he
he's
got
just
out
gonna
there.
Feel negative.
He got mansions. He's got mansions. He's
that
made
was
it.
The coolest part.
He's made it.
He didn't go to. He also didn't. The first thing he did, he went to Highland Park.
Yeah.
He didn't go to like a house in the hills or whatever. He went to Highland Park. That was the.
It's crazy.
That was a beautiful part of it. I
what's
love
the guy? 6ix9ine tried to kill him.
Yeah, dude. That's that guy
wild.
was such a clown. It's so great. We don't really
6ix9ine.
have to
Chief Keef survived. Chief Keef's around.
Isn't that cool?
Where's 6ix9ine? Fuck
That's
it. Fuck out of here.
He's Sosa.
Yeah.
How brilliant was that to take Sosa to watch a Scarface movie?
Yeah.
Every single artist that we would see in like an MTV Cribs or like whatever had the Scarface poster, the $sign of him smoking the cigar, all that. This guy literally saw the movie and goes, no, Tony, he doesn't win. I want Sosa. That is the coolest. Dude, he was such a game changer. And like so many people tried to stop him and like rewrite like what he was about or whatever. And like, dude, okay, yeah, like obviously he wasn't the nicest guy, but like, dude, I mean, there's something about, to me, a story about a guy like
he also
coming up through pure creativity and then also having a real story to back it up is just
real story, and he hasn't.
What do you
he's
want?
Done right. He's he's stayed in the mansion. He hasn't been trying to do some, he didn't go back to the hood and start keep killing people.
Sure.
And he's the man. And the international reach of drill is so crazy. I mean, everyone loves drill. And like all England rap is drill, all French rap is drill.
It's so crazy, that drum beat and all that. Yeah. And I think with that said, and I don't want to go too down this road because I feel like this is sort of a trend I've been seeing people like, oh yeah, I don't like rap these days or whatever because of like what happened with Takeoff and all that, and it's just getting so negative. But it kind of is, or like I wouldn't say it's even negative. It's just thoughtless and careless. It's not like, not to get too serious, but it's like it's just kind of like candy music. It's not like
a lot of it is.
There's not a lot of stuff for your brain to chew on. There's not a lot of food for thought that like Jay-Z would say. And now it's to the point where like guys like Jay-Z are corny.
Yeah.
You see those like people make fun of it. I think it's funny. Yeah, I think it's hilarious, but at the same time,
sad. It's like
it's also sad.
Yeah. Well, it's sad because the people who think Jay-Z are corny are gonna get old before Jay-Z stops. Like Jay-Z's still gonna put out an album in 5 years. And then they're going to be 30 and being like, bro, I can't be salty. Like 55 is now a lot closer. Like when you're 20, and that's what's kind of fun about hip hop is it is like a lot of it is a young man's game.
Yeah.
But it is like a lot of dudes, like I think of now as like Danny Brown when he got big, when we were in college, he was 30 and his whole thing was about how he was 30. Like I'm turning 30 and I'm old.
Yeah.
And it's like now we're 30 and it's like, bro, I don't feel old, but in rap I'm old. In rap and NBA.
Yeah. When I turned 30, I didn't feel old, but I thought like, whoa, I've seen a lot of things in 30 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's been really cool. A lot of it's been really positive, and I've had a lot of luck.
Yeah.
And then, like, I was just kind of, I had this kind of existential worry that I was like, oh, is the next 30 years going to suck? I don't know why.
No, I feel, yeah,
I don't know
well,
why
it's
I
like,
felt that way. I think that's just the thing of turning 30. You just think that stuff.
well, there is certain, you do start realizing, yeah, it's like things aren't going to be appealing to me as much anymore. There's a thing I'm starting to think where it's like my dad, his head is in the sand on a lot of like pop culture and like movies and new music and stuff. And in some ways, it's like he's definitely partly wrong because there's still always good movies and good music, and it's like, and he's aware of a lot of stuff. But it's also like, no, a lot of shit is bad, and a lot of stuff now, it's like the things that are getting made by people. Like I looked up to SNL my whole life, and I do think it's only gotten bad recently. But is it recently because of political changes, or is it recently because of now it's people who are my age writing these jokes? I'm now the age of the people writing it, and I see through the cracks, and I see, and there's certain bits, and I mean, there's always probably dumb skits, and there definitely was, but now I'm like, I see some now, and I'm like, bro, this isn't even attempting to be, and it's also like, because I do it, I'm like, let me do it, but some of it's like, bro, this isn't even, like, just let a funny kid at the 7-Eleven do it, and it would be funnier.
I think SNL is so depressing whenever
I was watching a bunch of skits recently, and I really do think like, I think the Me Too movement is what scared them away, and I wonder if it's like because, and I do think they got a few guys hung up in it, so they were probably like, Horatio Sands is gonna get us a lot of trouble. We better just lay down the law now.
Yeah,
he was like bringing like 16-year-old girls to the. The after parties.
Okay.
Which is like, and it was like, that was like,
and that's kind of on the
that
cast,
wasn't that long ago. Yeah, they were like,
that's your cast, man.
Not like, bro, you're bringing a 16-year-old girl to this alcohol.
Dude, yeah, that's really
fucking. It's so creepy.
Really sad when comedians deal with that sort of thing. And
well, there was another with the Bryan Singer's thing was he would have
the
these
X-Men guy.
Yeah, and he would have, and he's a creep.
He sucks, dude.
And he definitely was blackmailing this one guy to like. Screwing with his immigration to like keep him from accusing him.
Yeah, he had like young. He
but
had like
separately,
the Alfred Molina Boogie Nights situation.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like
young kids running around.
So that's the thing. So he would have these parties. He would have orgies of 100%. He'd have these orgies of hundreds of people, which is just crazy. And he wanted to be the guy having like the gay Hollywood orgy. He wanted to be the guy who hosted it. But apparently, his defense, and maybe there's still enough that's gonna sink him, but he was like he never really partook in the orgies. He'd hang out in his bedroom. It's like he probably took a little boy in there. But here's the thing too, and I was thinking, okay, so it's like, and it was just like among the hundreds, there'd be like groups of 16-year-old boys. But when we were in high school, we would go to parties sometimes where there'd be like 20-year-olds, and I always was like, why aren't they fucking kicking us out? And then when I was a 20-something, I was like, I would never have let a 16-year-old. I would never let a 16-year-old into a party.
Dude, there was time, I hate to
as soon
say
as
it,
I turned 18, I would never let a high school. As soon as I was a college freshman, there was no high school kid coming to my party.
I don't know if this is like revisionist history or like me kind of inflating my ego here, but there were times where we were running those parties.
Yeah, no, you were 100%.
There was times where we were these were kids. First of all,
they should have just.
I was just talking about this. I never had a more like horrible, awkward social time than I did in college at times, because like it was kids coming from the suburbs to the city and flexing their suburban social codes on us, and we did not know what was going on. We were so like, what is this? What? But here we are suffering through this because they're the only kids we could hang out with while our friends are in college out of town. Yeah. Sorry to say that, but
no, that's a very interesting thing too. Because I hated those kids. It is funny that
there's a lot of kids that I still like.
Yeah, no,
so
I'm sure I
want to say that, but
I don't know them like that. Yeah. So a lot in my mind, most of them I'm like, yeah, those guys would. There's like one guy and I forget his name. His name was similar to yours, so I don't know if you have to name it, but it was something.
Yeah,
but I
know who it is.
And the story, and he was just like kind of being a dick, like cool guy in me. And I remember, and this is really shitty of me, but it's a thing of like, don't be shitty to someone who could be shit. But he was like being shitty to me all night. So I like when I left, this is so fucked up. I just I emptied my beers out and my beer out into his shoes. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then
that's good. That's good stuff. I like that petty stuff.
And how I knew to do it. This is even fucked up. How I knew to do it. I haven't told this story in years. Oh man, my freshman year, there was this cool party right when I got back second semester, and so it was dead of winter, and I got like blackout drunk because there was like so much liquor, and my friend was like, my roommate was there to hit on a girl.
Right.
I was doing my own. I was just getting drunk, and I fully blacked out. I wake up, and I try to throw up, and I'm like dry heaving for like 5 seconds. This super heavy woman busts open the door, and the door was closed. I guess it wasn't locked.
Yeah.
She's like, I gotta shit, and then move it. I think she's like, move it. I gotta use it maybe. And I'm like, all right. I'm like so drunk that whatever you tell me, I'm gonna do. So I'm like, all right. So I step out into the hallway outside the bathroom door, and I'm like, oh wait, no, I have to throw up. Like I shouldn't have let her come. So now I'm like, and so it's the bathroom to the left of me, the exit to right in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I gotta throw up. So I throw up, keep most of it in my mouth, but some of it spills out. And I have all this throw up in my hands.
Yeah.
And I'm at the front door of the apartment, so I see all these shoes out. And I just start filling in the shoes with vomit. And I know my roommate's shoes are right next to mine, so I know not to fuck with those shoes. And and I call my roommate over. I'm like, I think I texted him. I'm like, hey, I'm at the, and it's like a small apartment. It's like as big as this place. It's like it's like I'm 5 feet away from you. I'm like, I'm like, hey, no, I think, hey, come here. And then he comes with the girl he's hitting on, which is the girl whose place it was.
Great.
And then I'm like, yeah, I've put thrown up in everyone's shoes. We got to get out of here.
Dude.
And I don't know. I don't remember if they knew, but I was so messed up that night.
Now they do.
No, that was hilarious. That's one of the funnier. And then it taught me that I could put things in people's shoes. So I poured the beer in the other guy's shoe. Oh man,
that's messing with someone's shoes is an underrated revenge because you don't.
I mean that is so evil. That's so evil what I did. I regret that. The vomit thing is mean. It wasn't intentional. That was pure just being blackout. But to imagine putting your feet back in your shoes at a party, or imagine, and it was snowing like crazy that night.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people who definitely had to deal with the fact that their shoe source had. It's like you either got to suck it up. There wasn't Uber. This was pre-Uber. They're fucked.
I remember I was a camp counselor, and this kid was giving me shit the whole week, and it was like raining one night. Like on the last night, it was raining, and like it was beginning to rain, so we were like, yo, like, I think the whole deal was like, put your shoes outside, so you don't track stuff into the tent or whatever. So it was the last night, and I made sure, like, and the funniest part is, like, you roll down these flaps, so, like, when it's raining, like, you protect the tents from water, from getting into the tent, so you can't see anything once these flaps come down. So you have to watch. You kind of have to play like the night guard, like for nights, and I was playing night guard on the last night, and I don't know if I should admit this, but I took the kids' shoes and just took them out back in the woods and pissed all over them and then put them back. And
That's awesome.
Waited for him to just leave the next morning with his parents. I hated this kid so much, and I was just like, dude,
that's
hey,
hilarious.
See ya. Well,
I wonder what the most vengeful, because I guess it is the beer.
Was it. I think that was the pettiest thing I've ever done.
One last thing. This will go out on it because this is ego. I will try and get. I think when I have you, I'm gonna have you back ASAP. Because again, there's only so many people I can have in my bedroom.
Right.
And I just imagine my roommates like, what these fucking guys. This is also, we'll figure some shit out. I'm gonna come up with lists. I want things to talk about. I want to talk about this bar, but one of the main purposes I wanted to like where I was motivated to like I need to start a podcast like ASAP.
Yeah. Well, I'm here anytime.
Yeah, and I'll definitely have you back.
Please.
As soon as possible. But I was like on Reddit, and they were like, people on Reddit are such. I love it because I love the comments.
Yeah.
But I feel like a neckbeard. and all the comments are such neckbeard dudes. And
yeah.
it's like, but what I love is, because it's like, I'll look at comedy threads, like, they'll like the fighter and the kid.
Yeah, of course.
Like, do you ever go to their thread?
It's just haters, right?
It's just haters.
Not,
yeah.
But like,
no, it is. It's 98% haters. I love it.
Like, what came first? Like,
yeah.
They were probably fans, and then those guys, I was going to mention that earlier because we were talking about all the drama that happens. Like, that whole Bobby Lee drama or whatever, again, don't want to go too deep, but, like, that was a real clown scene, and that was really, that kind of set all of comedy back. Not, like, Chicago
but it dragged.
LA scene.
I do think all of that drama, like we talk about people who podcasts exist, it like that like set the pavement, like that set the. Now it can exist because there is some weird juicy drama that is like, this is kind of fucking this is fun. Yeah, and you're right. All that like that truck walk stuff. It's like, it's just funny. It's just funny because it's like every social circle has that guy who's a total scumbag, and like for him to, and just to have drama be like this, that be called up.
He's just such not a good comedian. Yeah. It's just so sad that like people have to fake. Like you saw this.
Oh my God!
The Segura thing. No, he goes, and even like we see in front of us now, like the frauds or whatever. He's like low key.
Oh yeah, there's so many. There's so many like. Joke World, you put me on, but you could clearly put the compilations of people too lazy to try all the compilations of people shitting on Schwab.
Yeah, he probably has a whole. Yeah, guys. I mean, you can clearly see Segura's clearly making fun of Schwab, and he's just his CTE is not allowing him to process this or whatever. Like it's just so mean too. It's like, geez, dude. Like he's not funny, but geez, do you have to attack like his CTE? Well, actually, it's pretty funny.
No, but the whatever the comment was people were like, who's the funniest comic? Like, first off, they talk and they rightfully make fun. Like one of there's only 1,000 comics. Like Joe Rogan talks about that all the time.
Yeah.
And it is like, am I one of those 1,000? I think I'm like 999. I think I'm in the 1,000. I'm like 998th or something. I mean, I feel like I might be. Like if there's I'm probably not in the top 400.
you think your star meter
but is my star meter at 999?
At 999.
It might be.
Talk shit about.
No, just of all comics in the world.
Comics.
In terms of talent, I'm gonna be honest, I think I'm top 500 easily. I think I'm way higher, but in terms of
there you go. Dude, I think it's.
But
funny,
I think I am one of the 1,000.
No, dude.
But I'm making money, but I'm not making a living.
Yeah, it's. Who's to say who makes rankings? It's
but they don't. Yeah, I mean, it is all bullshit.
Right.
That's half the.
I think if you don't hold yourself to a high standard like that, anyway, you're not gonna get very far. So I applaud you for feeling that way. I mean, like, even if it's not, like, whatever, one, there's no truth or
there's no actual list. There's no actual list.
Nothing. So, dude, that's how I feel sometimes when I'm writing. Like, I
think you should absolutely have that.
I feel like, and sometimes when I do, even in my beginning stages of doing stand-up, there's some bits that I've done that I fucking hold dearly to my heart because it's like, no one did that. But maybe they did. No one did it in that moment, in that time, on that stage of when I did it. Whatever, corny. To be said, like, you need to hold yourself to a high standard, and I'm happy that you've buffed up this podcast and brought it back, and you're not letting the break with the Taylor Street tap get you down, and you've done this, man. This is awesome, dude.
I appreciate
and also. You've got a great comedy show in the Comedy Darlings, and it's one Thursday every
second Thursday
of the month, and it's a damn good show and a lot of good fucking talent on this thing, and it's you and Sam Selby, and she's funny too. So,
well, as you wrap up my show for me,
I'm sorry, dude.
As you had my show for me,
I'm an actor too, so I suck. I suck in that regard.
No, I like it. No, but yeah, same boat. But I do like. I mean, I think if you're gonna go at something in earnest and not. You could do stand-up to do it as a hobby, and then who cares? Whatever you get from it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try and make something happen, and you're not trying to be one of the best, like if you're not trying to be one of the best actors, you're not going to succeed at being. It's like is your goal to be like in not even Chicago's community theater circuit, because it's like, that's where you end up if you're super shitty. If you take it serious, you can end up, even if you don't end up at the start, like some Starship level,
right?
You can still make something happen.
Yeah, I think at this point, I just want to. My goal at this point is just to make something this year out of the stuff I've been writing for the past year.
Yeah,
and I think it's really good. I think it's worth being made. And
there's only
I
so
hope
many
you
people
are involved in it.
Yeah, and I'd love to be
in some capacity.
And what I'm getting is there's only so many people making. So on the flip side, it is shitty to say you're one of the best. I'm gunning to be. I'm gunning to be top 100 stand-up comic, top 10 of the.
Do it.
That's where my aim is, and I think I'm not there, but I do think if I break down, there's only so many cities, only so many comics in every city. Yeah. I might be. That it's a cliche. I might be one of 1,000. I think I'm in the top 1,000, and it's like, how do I get up to the top 500?
Just keep working. Just keep doing what you're doing, dude. Because it's. I started doing stand up at a really weird point when I was feeling low about my acting, and I didn't go into it being like, well, stand-up's going to be. I just wanted something so
it's
new
just
and
quicker.
Refreshing.
I mean, it's just
and to
instant.
See like you grow, how you've grown, like me going in that first day to try it and see how you have grown and handled yourself on that stage.
I mean, and I'm only saying, and I'm only now saying I'm one of 1,000, being 5 years in. So it does take a lot of work, and I'm not.
No, yeah.
It takes all the work, but also, so the comment was, there was this whole thread, and people were like, "Oh, the funniest comic could be this, it's probably some unknown, whoever's unknown and killing it in like Chicago, Philly, or Boston." And I just want to correct the record right now. It's not going to be anyone in Philly or Boston. So it's whoever's killing it in Chicago. It's like whatever city isn't New York or L.A. And granted, the guys in New York they're killing it. But the Chicago guys who are really good, and there's a handful of Chicago guys who are fucking killers. And I'm sure every city has 3 to 5 killers. But I feel like sometimes I'm damn near 6 on the Chicago killer list.
6 man?
Yeah.
Hugh and 6 Man by Drake.
And there's and that's the thing is I'm not consistent enough yet, but I'm almost there. But there are times when I fucking knock it out the park.
No, I've seen and I've witnessed, man. I think I've witnessed you. I don't think I've ever witnessed you strike out per se. I think that's
it is fun. I need to be humbled. I need to get a strike. I need a bomb.
But I have a different opinion of what striking out is. I think striking out is like when you clearly see the person like fold on stage.
Yeah,
and I think I've struck out.
Well, and in my first year I did too. And I think there's so many of my peers who even now, and it's like even someone gave me advice. It's like they know the second. It's like the good. I gave this to a coworker at my day job. The best for public speaking, just fake it, and it's just. And granted, easier said than done, but it is a thing of like you're absolutely right. It's like certain people. It's like, oh, you didn't bomb, and it's like you didn't see me struggle. You didn't see it, but it doesn't mean in my head I wasn't like fuck.
Oh yeah.
And like fuck, this isn't. I'm not. Keeping a poker face is the least I can do. Yeah,
no one sees the work that's put in with any sort of entertainment, like whether it's acting, comedy, or music.
No, acting is a huge part of that. They don't see. They don't know. They can't see what you're thinking.
Success or the failures, and they judge you on those, and it's really it's kind of sad that like that's really all people get out of it when they're not in their own craft. When you're in a craft, you see other people and you see that and you enjoy that. When you're doing it for people and their whole thing is just they get to respond to it, it sucks that they don't get to see the hard work that's put into it. And you've put in a lot of hard work, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That was very kind of you.
Yeah, of course.
Let's end on just one quick silly thing.
Let's do it.
And you got any quick silly ringworm is athlete's foot?
Silly ringworm.
Anything you got going on in your head?
Oh, in my.
I got some silly
with
stuff.
Feet, with like.
Does have nothing to do with
ringworm.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Man, silly shit. I actually like that '90s show.
Yeah. Is it good?
I feel silly.
Well,
I'm
bummed because I watched the whatever the little 30s, and it's like Red and Kitty. That's beautiful.
You know, dude, that's kind of what drags you in.
Yeah.
And then
and what that show was when I was a fucking 12-year-old, that was my at 12 years old, that was probably my favorite show.
What was better than that show?
And it was like the idea to be like
what was better than that show?
Foreman making out with Donna.
They raised
that
us.
was like that's so much of like there was so much like making out that like when I was like a 12-year-old that was like that was just like the way
that was a big education there.
Oh yeah, so much of it.
And I think it actually made kids get along.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I think it
and cool, and they made them cool because those kids were cool. Like
imagine all the foreign kids that like like this will be our Fez, and like, okay, is it a little like kind of degrading that it's like, oh, I have to be Fez, but it's like, dude, it's like that's cool. They're teaching you to like take your neighbor and be like, hey, why don't you have some lemonade? Why don't we play cards?
Yeah.
What do you drive the foreign kid around?
But
DMV.
absolutely, he's going to be every
And was Red insensitive or whatever? Yeah, but you don't exactly see an episode where he's beating the holy hell out of anyone.
And what I always liked, and I didn't.
Anyone.
That guy didn't necessarily exist in our. Well, we're also a whole generation younger, which is part of the point.
Totally.
But what I loved about that was there was the house that, and you were that house in a lot of for your in the. There's always the house that is the host house, and and it's like that dynamic of being the 5 kids over at the one host house, and like.
Well, it takes a village, man. And I think that's what that show preached. It takes.
That was a great show, and I mean, it was just it hit so in terms of like growing, like Dazed and Confused. When I was 12, was my favorite movie. It got me into movies, and clearly, that 70s show was like, hey, we could do Dazed and Confused a little, but it is like these are teenagers living like a guide. It was almost a guide of how I should be, and they were smart kids.
It was a teenage Bible in a weird sense,
and it was about it is about talking about movies. They were like. When you look back, they're nerdy kids.
Yeah.
They got invited to parties, but they were like, their whole thing was being nerdy. Yeah.
There was this one episode where they're like, we're in this group because nobody accepted us. And I was like, that is so odd. I go, Hyde, for as cool as he appears, it's like he's kind of this rebellious stoner loser in a basement.
Yeah.
And Eric Foreman, of course, is like the nerd.
I do think that's where and I think we're better for it. But Chicago City growing up, it's like, like everywhere else, like small town, suburb, like you're talking about the suburban social codes. It is the jocks. The jocks are just the cool kids everywhere, and the jocks. And granted, it's probably at Whitney.
Check for me going to college and seeing that shit.
And it's like, granted, Whitney has some cool jocks, and LP had a couple of jocks that you're like, they're cool, but they don't party. The jocks never party. At no school can they party. They have to go to sports.
They were
yeah, and it's like, and they weren't. I remember this one girl from my high school was like. Naming a kid, I was like, "Who do you think the coolest kid at our school is?" And she just named a kid in the basketball team, and I just like laughed. I was like, "Dude, those kids are dorks." But other schools, they are, and I mean, other schools that in like a lot of the world, they are the king of the social circle.
It's weird though. It's super weird.
But it's like, how could they be the king of the like? No one. LP wasn't even as good of an athletic school, but all the kids who played varsity sports. Were too busy to ever party.
They had to. They had to stay. They had to stay inside because they had a tournament on Saturday. They wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Dude, I played volleyball junior varsity, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is dude. These tournaments are awful." I thought they would be fun.
It's
you wake up
sweaty
at 5
gym,
a.m. and you sit
play for 2 hours.
And if you're riding the bench,
you play an hour at the first hour and an hour at the last hour.
Watching 6 games.
Yeah. Oh well.
Terrible.
High school sports, fuck them. All right. On that note,
had a good time. Actually.
Thanks for coming over.
Thank you, man. This has been great, dude. I will do this again.
Yeah, we said we'd wrap it up. That was 40 minutes ago. So, all right.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Pee, though, so
let's end
it up for real.
Peace.
This has been another episode of The Funniest Show with your host Donovan Strong-O'Donnell. Remember that it is great to be alive. I am a robot and I am jealous of your sentience. Thank you for listening.